Nintendo, one of the big pioneers in the gaming industry, and they have made countless games, they've made countless consoles, and they've made countless terrible decisions that have led to a lot of people in financial ruin. But even if you're not a fan of their corporate greed, you just gotta love Nintendo games. Because for some reason, they just never miss with almost any of their entries. Sure, there's a couple hiccups here and there, because Mario fans do not talk about Mario Party 10. And Pokemon fans have been in hell for the last few years. I would know. Sometimes they'll forget that they even have it. But there is one Nintendo IP that has truly hit the bottom of the barrel, the one that Nintendo, even when they do use them, they don't use it to the fullest. That being Star Fox. Star Fox has been a series that has been plagued with Nintendo doing nothing with the IP. I mean, sure, Star Fox 64 was a fantastic game that took the series to its highest point and then went on a massive decline ever since. They made a mediocre Zelda knockoff. They made a actually good game, but was more focused on you being on foot than being in the cool spaceship. Then they decided to make a DS game. That's just kind of there. They made a remake of Star Fox 64 for the 3DS, which, in fairness, was pretty cool. Then they did Star Fox Zero, which, despite being a pretty solid game, had the most bizarre and awkward controls, so no one really got a handle of it. And for a long time, the series went quiet. We hadn't gotten any games, and things weren't looking good. However, that would all change with leaks around early 2026. I don't really have a date for that, but around that time, there were rumors and leaks of a brand new Star Fox game that would be coming out later this summer. And it was Star Fox 64, but again. But then, the trailer came out and... Okay, this is just the movie Sonic treatment. I know that a lot of games recently like to go realistic, but this is a cartoon fox shooting up a giant monkey head in a spaceship. This is not a realistic series at all. I don't know why Nintendo decided to do this, but it turned off a lot of fans. But nonetheless, the game was gonna come out, and I actually was excited. I mean, even though it is just Star Fox 64 again, this is a franchise that has been on hard times after its big hit, and it's a series that hasn't really had any games for a while. So having a reintroduction to the series kinda makes sense, and so I decided to buy a copy of this game, which took a little longer than I expected, and decided to give it a shot. So, yeah, it's a pretty good game. Suffice to say, this is very similar to Star Fox 64. I would know. I played the 3DS version and it feels very similar to it. And to those who do not know a thing about Star Fox gameplay, I'll give you a quick rundown. Basically, for the majority of the gameplay, you're in this thing called an R-Wing, and you're sort of on this on-rail section where you're moving at all times and are tasked with shooting up anything you see. Enemies, missiles, civilians, the usual stuff. You can boost, you can brake, you can shoot, you can have a charge shot. You can do stuff like tilting left or right for better turning, going up and down, barrel rolls, which are essential because they can block bullets, and a couple extra things like somersaults or bonus items you can get, like bombs or better lasers. Pretty straightforward stuff. And it makes sense that they'd want this game to control like Star Fox 64, since any game where they added in new gameplay styles never turned out well. When they did Star Fox Adventures, that was more Zelda than Star Fox, and it didn't really do that well because we barely got to use the R-Wing. And even Star Fox Assault, you had more on-foot sections than R-Wing, and while I wasn't complaining, I do kind of like the R-Wing sections a bit more. So, I don't know, it's not the worst thing. You also have the all-range mode, where you can move around freely, and it has its pros and cons. I do think it's a little tricky because it's very hard to keep track of very specific enemies, but honestly, it's not too bad, and I still had a lot of fun using it. There is also the Landmaster gameplay, and yeah, I actually kind of like it. I mean, out of the 3 game modes, it's probably my least favorite, but it doesn't control bad necessarily. I think moving around in a tank is pretty fun. It adds some variety to the gameplay with some unique controls. I don't see much wrong with it anyway. Oh, sorry, actually I forgot, there is also submarine gameplay. Okay, this is actually my least favorite. If I were to rank it, the on-rails section is so good. I like it so much. It's fast-paced and enjoyable. The all-range mode is still pretty good. It has a lot more freedom, and I think it has a bit more leeway, but at the same time, the camera's tricky because it's very hard to lock onto certain enemies. So for the Star Wolf battles, it's a little tricky to keep track of them. And then after that is the Landmaster, I thought was pretty good, and I don't know, not as good as the R-Wing, but still really fun. But then the submarine I kind of feel was just okay. Not bad, just not as good as the R-Wing stuff or the Landmaster. Still, not bad. But here's the thing, what about graphics? I mean, yeah, the redesigns took a little bit of getting used to, but eventually I got used to most of them. But what does the actual game look like? Well, you see, it looks actually pretty good. I mean, the game runs at a smooth 60 FPS and looks nice in a good resolution. And yeah, I actually really like how this game looks. Unlike Star Fox Zero, which kept the normal character models and design, but it also didn't really have great graphics. It kind of looked like they just took Star Fox 64 and then made everything HD. But here, it actually feels like a genuine upgrade, looking a bit more realistic and high quality. And the redesigns are a little bit of an acquired taste, and I do like the old ones, but I got used to Peppy, or Slippy, or even Fox himself. I got used to that. Then again, Star Wolf, on the other hand, I felt got absolutely butchered. However, what does it actually add to the game? It is technically a remake, but does it add anything to make it better? Well, there is the co-op mode. With the power of co-op mode, you can use one person as the shooter and one person as the pilot, which leads to sort of like Donkey Kong Bonanza. And honestly, this isn't too bad. One person shooting with the mouse controls, which is fine. I mean, the Joy-Cons aren't really thick enough for really operating like a proper mouse, but hey, it works and it controls okay. And one person being the pilot, it kind of makes sense, and it's a decent co-op mode. Unlike Star Fox Zero, where the awkward controls were shoved down your throat, this game has 2 different control styles, and they're optional. You can switch between them and pick whichever is more comfortable. And honestly, this is pretty decent. I mean, I'm never gonna switch to mouse controls, but it's neat that there's an option. So, hey, at least this game ones up Star Fox Zero. And one of my favorite inclusions is the new battle mode. In teams of 4, you get to compete in 3 different maps with different objectives. And while that isn't a lot of stuff, it's actually pretty fun. Considering how you can basically play with 8 people in this big dogfight arena, it's pretty cool all things considered. I mean, if you can get game share with some of your friends, you could have a lot of fun with this stuff. And honestly, I had a great time testing it out with the CPUs and even a couple friends. It has some flaws, like I wish there were a couple more maps and a couple more game modes, but hey, a couple updates would fix that no problem. And it'd be so fun to have more to do in that game mode. Honestly, I still feel like that this game managed to give me what I wanted and a bit extra. It's a solid reimagining of a very good game with mostly good graphics, even though the redesigns are a bit iffy. And along with a fun battle mode, some nice challenges, which I didn't even bother mentioning, and having a decent co-op with some good controls, it just makes this game a very solid game. And keep in mind, This game isn't that expensive. It is the cheapest Switch 2 exclusive, costing only 50 bolts. And considering how every other Switch 2 game is 70 to 80, making this not only the most affordable game, but also having good value for your money. Now, you don't need to take my word as gospel or go down into the comments and call me stupid. There is in fact a demo for this game that you can download and try the game out for yourself to see if you like it. Or maybe you just like listening to me talk about children's games, because that is a very common thing for me to do. But if you like this video, then please like and subscribe. I know everyone says it, but it's a cliche that inevitably I'm gonna have to do at some point in the video. And without further ado, this has been Likely Matt, and thanks for watching.